So guys, it is rebuild time yet again. Yes, I'm in a very different location. I'm currently on vacation in California. I know, I'm still recording a rebuild because I wanted to bring this one to you guys because it's a pretty good one. We are today rebuilding Wrexham. Obviously, they start in the National League. Obviously, McElhenny and Reynolds are now the owners of Wrexham. So I thought that would be a good first UK-based one for me to do. And we are diving straight in with Wrexham. Now, they've got a pretty good squad already, some interesting players in there. No one who I think would be able to take me into the stratospheres of the Premier League like we will be trying to do with this rebuild. The main man, though, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. This guy is going to be our main guy going forward. 27 years of age. He's got 15 finishing, which, you know these attributes go up to 20, right? So he's actually quite good, is 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. Obviously, he shouldn't be playing in the National League, so I'm expecting him to be the top goal scorer in the National League. And fingers crossed, he is able to pull it out for us and be our main man moving forward this season. In terms of some of the other stuff, though, guys, it's relatively self-explanatory. We are working on a 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 test, so that is what I'm using for this rebuild, the 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 V3. It's not ready to be released yet. We're still working through a couple of teething problems, but that should be on the channel very, very soon. Gareth GR was kind enough to give me this tactic to try out for this rebuild, and I started playing this on my flight over to LA. So there we go. In terms of some of the competitions and stuff, obviously we are in the National League. We do have the English Emirates FA Cup and the English FA Trophy. I've not got the real name fixes on this this particular save because it is on my laptop. In terms of some of the other stuff, though, guys, they want us in the Club Vision section. They want us to win promotion to Sky Bet League 2. That's not really a surprise after their disappointing double loss on the National League and the FA Trophy last season. They also want us to be competitive in the FA Cup and be competitive in the FA Trophy as well. In terms of the board and supporters section, obviously there is Ryan Reynolds, there is McElhenny. Yeah, need to keep those guys happy. And then in terms of the supporter stuff, I will try and show this as much as I can. But this is kind of what the supporters want from us. Interesting 14% hardcore support, which obviously you've seen if you've seen the Wrexham documentary. They seem to be pretty good fans. In terms of everything else, though, this is what they are kind of expecting from me. Develop players using the club's youth system, play entertaining football, get the better of Chester, be competitive against Shrewsbury, get the better of Tranmere, obviously Stockport as well, finish above Chesterfield in the league, and they also want me to gain automatic promotion to Sky Bet League 2. In terms of the National League, though, if we click on the National League super quick and we go on the season preview, this is kind of what we're expected to do. We are the best team in the division by an absolute landslide. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this first season. We're just going to power through and see how we can get on with certain stuff. But obviously we are the favourites. It'd be nice to have a good cut run as well. But let's simulate this first season and see how we get on. So this goes without saying, the first season in the National League was a success. We managed to get ourselves promoted and comfortably promoted as well. As you can see on the screen, we won the National League with 113 points and a plus 82 goal difference, which is very, very impressive. 5 draws, 5 defeats, everything else was a victory. In terms of the FA Cup, though, we did get to the third round. We got all the way into the third round where we were knocked out by Premier League Brentford. So ultimately, a nice little payday for the club. And we managed to win the FA Trophy as well, beating FC Halifax in that final relatively comfortably as well in that one, 3-0 in the final there. As you can see, Lee, Mullin and Palmer with the goals, so relatively straightforward there. In terms of some of the other stuff, though, guys, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 was our top goal scorer for the season. 51 goals for Mr. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 in all competitions, which is very, very impressive. He's far too good for the National League level. But yes, we were comfortably promoted as champions, and Woking going up in the playoffs, which obviously shows that it pays to not finish in second, because that team in second rarely gets themselves promoted. So we do go into Sky Bet League 2 for season number 2. We've got a little bit of money to work with, but I'm going to slide it all into the wage budget and see what free agents we can pick up going into season number 2. So we start on to season number 2 of this Wrexham rebuild. My goal with this one is to get them into the Premier League and get them to be a sustainable Premier League club, and then I will hand the save over to you guys. But this is the transfer update going into season number 2. No money made, no money spent, but we've brought in some additional players. Rob Layton is the main outgoing. Actually, the goalkeeper has gone to TNS, so he's gone over there. In terms of some of the incomings, we've got this guy, Alex Patterson. He comes in on a free transfer. He was part of of the Harrogate team, 25 years of age, young Englishman, pretty well-rounded for a League Two level, and thinking he can do a good job for us there. Aaron Lewis comes in, can play as a natural on both fullback positions, so again, good cover. Always nice to bring in a Welshman there. In terms of goalkeeper, obviously Leighton did depart, so we brought in Jamal Blackman on a free transfer. I don't actually know where he was most recently. Exeter. He's bounced around a lot of clubs. Obviously a former Chelsea youngster. Played a lot in Sky Bet League One last year, so I'm hoping he can drop down a division and do very well for us this year. Daniel Butterworth comes in, 23 years of age, can play in any of the three positions behind the striker, which is crucial for our 4-2-3-1, but can also play up top as well. He's not going to be playing up top. That's Paul Mullen's position. We've also brought in Billy Bowden, a player who I actually know personally. Shout out you, Bodes. Obviously, we were both at Bristol Rovers at the same time. Great on both wings, really tricky, good on his very strong left foot as well. So looking forward to see what Bodes can do in this game. And then the last one is Connor Masterson. He comes in, a nice young Irish centre-back, can hopefully give us a little bit more firepower in terms of our central defenders. 6'3", good in the air. I think he's going to be very, very good for this level. So in terms of our team going into season number 2, if we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is how things are looking. So we've got Blackman in goal, Hosanna, Masterson, Hayden, McFadden, alongside Patterson, O'Connor, Bowden, Lee, Butterworth, and Paul Mullen up top going into Sky Bet League 2. Obviously, Sky Bet League 2, the board expectation is for us to finish inside that top half. And if we look at the season preview, we should probably do a bit better. They want us to finish second. I don't know if that's doable, you know. Freshly promoted team, they're expected us to finish second, above Accrington, Exeter and Wycombe, who were the 3 relegated teams, alongside Forest Green as well, also relegated. But the media preview thinks we're going to come in second, which is, that's going to be interesting. Obviously, we do have some other cups as well. We've got the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and the Papa John's Trophy. No FA Trophy for us this year, of course, as we are a professional tier club in the Football League. So let's simulate season number 2 and see how we get on. Okay, so we were expected to finish second according to the media preview. Yeah, we've done better than that. We've managed to win the division, and even more comfortably than we did in the National League. Obviously, the team I put together is pretty darn good, and it would appear that this tactic is pretty close to being released as well. 101 points for Wrexham this season out of the 46 games, won 31 of them, drew 8, lost 7, plus 55 goal difference, vastly superior to Bradford and Wimbledon, who are the other 2 teams promoted, and Doncaster and Hartlepool will compete in that play-off final. Paul Mullen, top goal scorer for us in the league. I will show him in all comps in a second. And we got to the 4th round of the FA Cup. We were knocked out by Manchester United, which, no real surprises that we went out to a Premier League team, is it? Knocked out in the 1st round of the Carabao Cup by Oxford United. They are obviously in the team above us, and we were knocked out in the northern section of the Papa John's Trophy. But the Sky Bet League 2 trophy is coming to Wrexham, which I'm really, really happy about. If we take a look at our home screen, Paul Mullen, top goal scorer for us again, 36 goals for him in all competitions. So yeah, Paul Mullen again probably still shouldn't be a Sky Bet League 2 player. 2 very, very good seasons for us, and he will continue to propel us up the divisions in Sky Bet League 1 next year. In terms of the finances going into this season, we're going to have 616 or 617k pretty much, and a little bit of wiggle room in that wage budget as well. We've got a nice overall balance as well, but if I go on the club info and go on the facilities, this is where we're trying to improve stuff as well for when you guys take over. The racecourse ground is a very nice stadium, but the great training facilities and adequate youth facilities, obviously that is something that we will be trying to improve. We have been trying to make some board requests, but nothing going just yet, but that is on the list, believe you me. We've got some money in the bank as well, so what is that, almost 3 million quid, so let's start spending that and improving off the field as well as on the field. Transfer update going into season number 3, the Sky Bet League 1 season. If you are enjoying this rebuild, guys, please do drop a like on the video down below and consider subscribing if you are picking up things for the very first time. We've still got a few more seasons to go in this particular rebuild of Wrexham, but it would mean a lot to me if you did consider hitting that subscribe button. Now, we do have some outgoings. Connor Masterson has gone. He has gone to Derry City for 97k, could rise to 120. He has departed the club, which is really disappointing because he was very good for us last season. But in terms of the incomings, we've brought in Brandon Cooper. He looks very good. I'm happy to have him at centre-back. I think he's a right and ready replacement for Masterson. We've also gone out and brought in Bradley Dack. Now, this is a player that my team, Bristol City, have threatened to sign on numerous occasions, and now I've finally signed him in Football Manager. He is going to be the main focal point of the midfield, running that sort of advanced playmaker position, threading the ball through to Mr. Paul Mullin. He is on the older side at 30 years of age. That makes me sound a hypocrite because I'm 31, but there we go. We've also got this guy, Daniel Harvey. He comes in to play left back for us. Nice and well-rounded. All the attributes in all the good positions. Again, comes in on a free transfer. We've paid 175k for Brandon Cooper as well. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 comes in from Manchester United. Looked really, really good. I'm quite happy with the signing of this guy. Natural at centre-back, can play on the left back position, the right back position as well. Nice natural fitness, 6'2" as well. Obviously comes from Manchester United, so you know he's of a certain calibre. Aaron Presley comes in. He has been released by Brentford. He comes in on a free transfer as well, just as a little bit of cover for Paul Mullin should he pick up any potential injuries. And Anis comes in, 𝘼𝙗𝙗 comes in, Albanian international, to sort of be in those midfield areas. I'm not expecting Bradley Dack to play as a cam every single game this season, but obviously this guy, Anis, is pretty comfortable to play in the central midfield too as well. So looking forward to having a little bit more depth and current ability there. If we go and take a look at the best 11 that we can put out, this is how things are looking. Jamal Blackman in goal. Hosanna, Cooper, Bernard and Harvey are the back four. Patterson alongside O'Connor in the middle. 𝘼𝙗𝙗, Dack, Butterworth, and then Paul Mullin up top as we go into Sky Bet League 1, guys. So this is going to be very interesting for us this season. Obviously, we do have the other cup competitions, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and the Papa John's Trophy. And if we go over to Sky Bet League 1 and have a look at that season preview, we are expected to finish in 11th as the most recently promoted side. We've got Hull, Plymouth, Portsmouth. We've got some Swansea bloody in here, Charlton, Oxford, Bolton. There are some big teams in this division, and I'm hoping we can kind of not embarrass ourselves, really. If we go into the club vision, you can see that we are expected to avoid relegation from Sky Bet League 1, so hopefully we can get that job done. But they also want us to be competitive in the FA Cup, or basically be competitive in all of the cup competitions. So let's simulate this season number 3, and see how we get on. We've done it, guys. We've gone back to back. We are going to be playing championship football in the 2025-2026 season. I'm actually quite surprised that this has happened. We've gone up in second. We managed to avoid the playoffs. Charlton were promoted as champions on 88 points. We finished in second on 82, so not too shabby altogether. I think we've done pretty well there. 10 draws, 12 losses, and 24 victories, and plus 36 in terms of that goal difference. Paul Mullin, again, top goal scorer for us in the league. Knocked out in the 4th round of the FA Cup, so another couple paydays in the FA Cup, but we are unfortunately knocked out by Stoke City. Knocked out in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup by Leicester City as well, and then we got knocked out in the Northern Section 3rd round by Norwich's under-21s. I don't understand how Norwich are in the northern section of the Papa John's Trophy, but alas, they are. But we've done pretty well in the league, and we were expected to finish mid-table, and we absolutely smashed it, to be perfectly honest. So if we go on to the home screen, Paul Mullin is our top goal scorer yet again. 29 goals for Paul in all competitions. And if we take a look at his history, yes, okay, the goals are drying up a little bit as we are progressing up the divisions, but also as he is getting slightly older. 16 goals for us in 42 appearances. But he did get 12 assists, so he is playing quite well. Actually, where has my assistant's played him out on the right, which is very interesting. He's done well for us in all comps, so scoring a decent number of goals, but also providing 12 assists, which is pretty darn impressive for Mr. Paul Mullin. In terms of the finances going into the championship, we're going to get absolutely pummeled this year, guys. We've got £1.7 million worth of transfer budget. I'm going to move most of it into the wage budget again, and hopefully we can build a squad which is going to be struggling in the championship. Let's see what we can do. Right, guys, our biggest summer so far is done and dusted. We are about to start things in the Championship. We've had 4 players come in. Nathan Ferguson is coming from Crystal Palace on a free transfer. Natural in all of the defensive positions. He was a no-brainer on a freebie to pull in and do a good job for us at the back. We've also signed this guy as well, Nathan 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. He comes in as a striker, again, to play with Mullin or on the right-hand side or behind, basically. This guy can kind of do all of it in the attacking attacking positions. Comes in as a potentially 3.5 star pressing forward for our team, which looks like he will lead the line quite nicely for us. We've also got this guy as well. Conor McCarthy comes in, another centre-back. It's always good to constantly improve your defence, guys. We know how defenders are in FM23 this year. They are all over the place. And then somehow we've managed to sign this guy. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚 comes in, 22 years of age, Portuguese player, can play on the wing, a natural on both sides, and I'm looking forward to him really stepping our attacking play up a notch. He's come in on a free transfer, and he's now valued at 7.6 to 9 million quid. I know we're playing in the Championship, but that is a lot for a player at that particular level. Here are the competitions that we are in. Obviously, now we are in the Championship. No more Papa John's trophy for us, so that is a trophy that we will not be able to win in this particular rebuild, but we do have the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and the Championship, guys. So the Championship, there are some monster teams in here, of course, and we are predicted to finish, according to the media prediction, we are predicted to finish stone dead last. Charlton, the team that got promoted there, who were champions last season, there we are both 250 to 1. Hull, who came up in the playoffs, 33 to 1, so they're expected to do a lot better than we are. But obviously Fulham, Brighton, Bournemouth, relegated teams in here. So obviously Watford, Sunderland are going to be pretty good. West Brom as well, you would expect to be pretty good. Derby also on their resurgence. So lots of big names in this division. In terms of the club vision and stuff like that, we are obviously keeping everybody happy in terms of their actionable objectives. But this season, they want us to attempt to avoid relegation from the Championship. They know Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenny, they know that we're potentially going to struggle this year. I just want to keep us in the division and then maybe take a year to consolidate and then push on maybe next season. So let's simulate and see how we get on. A year of consolidation is what I wanted. A year of consolidation is what I have got. We managed to finish ourselves in 11th, so we are in the top half of the Championship table, but a lot of work to do to close that gap on the teams at the top. We finished on 67 points, which is actually the same as West Brom, so ultimately I think that's a very good season in the Championship. Brighton promoted as champions, Fulham in second, and Watford and Middlesbrough will contest that playoff final, the richest game in English football. In terms of the FA Cup, though, we got all the way to the fourth round again, knocked out again by West Bromwich Albion. Then we got to the third round in the Carabao Cup, again knocked out by Norwich City. So ultimately, a very good season for us. It looks like at one stage, we got all the way up into second in the Championship and then kind of fell away a bit, which is really disappointing, to be perfectly honest with you. We go onto the home screen, you can see Nathan Young-Coombs is the top goal scorer for the club, 27 goals for him. So a very nice return from a player that we brought in on a free transfer. Going into season number 5, we're currently overspending on our wage budget. I'm trying to renew a couple contracts, and we've got a little bit more in our transfer budget there, 866,000. We've got 10 million now in the bank, which we are working on improving some of these facilities. If we go into our board, it still says there's no board request, but there definitely has been. If we go into our facilities, you can see we've got great training facilities and stuff like that. We're also stepping up our youth academy coaching and stuff like that as well, and our youth recruitment. These are things on the list that I will be trying to improve upon. So let's get through the summer in the Championship, and hopefully we can push on next season. Transfer update going into season number 5, guys, and I've kind of cheated a little bit here. We've managed to get ourselves a senior affiliate of Manchester City. So I've gone out and I've managed to pull in some Man City players. This is the first one, Jermaine Dobbin. He is a new gen, of course. He comes in from Manchester City. Can play in a number of the positions up top, but I think I'm going to try and play him as a striker with that 15 pace, that high agility, that high acceleration as well. I think he can be a real threat coming in from Man City on loan. As you can see, he's almost valued 11.5 million as his top end, so that's pretty good as well. Jesse Vassie comes in, another new gen for us. He will be playing in that cam position here. He has all the attributes that I think a really good cam does have, other than the fact that he is 5'9". I would kind of liked him a little bit taller, but again, he comes in on from Manchester City on a free transfer or on a loan. We're paying absolutely no money for him, so make sure you get your senior affiliates in, guys. Ryan Rose comes in as the final one. He is another option for us on that right hand side to be a nice little attacker for us. Looks like he's got good pace and stuff like that as well. Going to be able to get in a nice good cross into some of our attacking players. Valued potentially up to 35 million quid for Ryan Rose. He comes in and is our new number 7. So also all these freebies coming in from Man City, so you can't argue with that. In terms of our team, if we quick pick the best 11, I think we need to improve our defence a little bit, don't we? This is our best 11. Jamal Blackman in goal, Ferguson, Cooper, Bernard, Harvey, Mehmeti, O'Connor, Rose, Vassi, Fernandez, Dobbin. The Man City boys coming in clutch, potentially, I'm hoping, in this year's championship. We take on Morecambe in the first round of the Carabao Cup. We also do have the FA Cup, of course, and we've got the Sky Bet Championship. The board expectation is to actually avoid relegation this season. I kind of want to push on a little bit harder and see if we can get a little bit higher up. We are now 50-1 to win the division. I think that's potentially a little bit beyond us. Some interesting teams, Norwich, Crystal Palace and Burnley, all relegated from the Premier League. So we're going to have to try and get the job done this year. Cardiff were promoted, lol, to see them in League One, as were Swansea. The two Welsh teams letting the side down, really, because we've been in the Championship since last season. So in which case, guys, we will simulate Season 5. I'll see you at the end of it. I don't know how this has happened in season number 5. We are promoted. We'll be playing Premier League football next season. We've managed to get ourselves promoted, winning the division. 89 points for us this season, which in terms of a championship points total, let's see out of curiosity where 89 points would have got me last season. So 89 points last season, we would have finished in 4th. But we've somehow managed to win the division with 89 points. It's a very highly contested league this year, it would appear. 27 victories for us, 8 draws, 11 losses, 90 goals scored, 54 goals conceded, positive goal difference, 36 goal difference. We are promoted alongside Sunderland, so they are back in the Premier League. And Middlesbrough, QPR, Norwich and Burnley will contest the playoffs. So interesting season for us. I can't believe this has happened, to be perfectly honest. We've had a nice little run at the end of the season to get ourselves in there, and Sunderland potentially have fallen off a touch, but no players in terms of the top 3 goal score. We've got Ryan Rose there in terms of the average rating, but we've managed to get the job done somehow. And obviously going into the Premier League money, 31 million to invest into this squad. So now is the time to spend some cash and actually go out and sign some players. In terms of all competitions, Jermaine Dobbin is our top goal scorer. He scored 20 in all comps. Jolson Fernandez also looking like a nice, tidy young winger now, 24 years of age. I'm sure someone will come knocking for him eventually. But we are going into the Premier League, boys and girls. If that's not worth a like, I don't know what is. Right, Premier League transfer update then, guys. We have been out and we have spent some cash, that is for sure. The first player I want to talk about, Joe Gelhardt, comes in on a free transfer from Leeds United, 25 years of age. I know this guy has good potential. I know he's creative, can play in a number of positions as well. Really looking forward to Big Joe coming in and doing a job for us here. He comes in on a free transfer. I have to talk about this guy, Alberto Marco, young 21-year-old goalkeeper. I brought him in for like 400k. He did not get a work permit, though, obviously working in the UK, absolute nightmare. So he has now gone out on loan to Sporting Lisbon, where I hope he can go on and gets us some game time and obviously ultimately gain him that work permit. Ronnie Edwards comes in. I believe he was at Newcastle. He was released from Newcastle last season, only played once in the Premier League. Very nice, well-rounded centre-back. Hoping he can make it a bearable season for us in the Premier League. Finn Stevens comes in also on a free transfer as well. He was released by Brentford, having gone out on loan to Denmark last season and only playing once. So he comes in as our right-back option. Isaac Hansen-Aaron is how I'm going to say this dude's name, the youngster from Manchester United. He was again released. Nice and creative, hoping he can unlock lots of doors for us at the Premier League level. I believe he's relatively untested at the Premier. He's had a couple seasons out on loan in the Championship, West Brom and Blackburn most recently, where he's not really set the world alight. So maybe he's not ready for the step up to the Premier League. I'm hoping that he is. Another wonder kid is in. Gabriel Vidovic comes in. He is from Bayern Munich, ladies and gentlemen. He comes in, 23 years of age now in game. We paid £4.9 million for him. He's been bouncing around the Bayern youth setup for a while now. Has been unable to break into their starting 11. He comes in, adding a little bit of firepower and creativity for us. Tommy Doyle comes in from Manchester City, who are sadly no longer our affiliate because we are now in the same division. Tommy Doyle's fantastically well-rounded to play in central midfield at the Premier League level, so I'm happy to bring him in. We've also signed this guy, Lucas Gorina Duaf, is how I'm going to say this dude's name. 24 years of age, DM by trade, but can play in that central midfield player role, which is where I'm going to be playing him. Really nice technicals, well-rounded mentals, it's the physicals which really attracted me to this guy. Nice high agility, nice stamina, 16 strength, he's 6'1". It's exactly the sort of player I need in my team to break this play up in the Premier League. Then we've also got this guy, 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪. He comes in at goalkeeper. I needed a goalkeeper. This dude comes in on loan from Porto, relatively self-explanatory. We're paying 100% of his wage, guys, £950 a week. So yeah, pretty good there. And we also got this guy, 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙩. Yeah, I'm butchering these Norwegian names, that's for damn certain. He's okay. But he was relatively cheap in terms of the grand scheme of things. We paid £4 million for him from Viking. There was a couple of other clubs sniffing around him. And now he's valued at between 20 to 30 million. Good dribbling, so he's decent on the ball. Good finishing as well. Really nice bravery of 19, high determination, professional personality. So you know he's going to develop quite nicely. And he's already 6'4". So a big dude coming into the team. Obviously, we've had a couple of loans go out. Sam Roberts, obviously, Alberto Marco. We touched upon Jack Burrows is gone, and Conor McCarthy has gone out on a free transfer as well. So with these additions going into the Premier League, quick picking without restriction, this is the best team. We've now got Vieira, Stevens, Cooper, Bernard, Ferguson, Doyle, let's say Guarana. Yeah, Guarana. Let's just call him Guarana. What's his first name? Lucas. Let's just call him Lucas, shall we? Mehmeti there. Hansen Aaron alongside Fernandez, and then Vidovic up top. So hopefully this can actually progress us quite nicely in the Premier League. And speaking of the Premier League, we do have the Premier Division here. If we go on to the season preview, guys, this is not good reading for us. 1,000 to 1 we are expected to go down in bottom, which is no huge surprise in terms of things. Jamal Musiala, also a Manchester City player now. That, everyone, is a problem this year, as I think Jamal Musiala is one of the best players that we could come up against in this year's game alongside 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪, and they're on the same team. So this is going to be really interesting. Liverpool predicted to win the title, though, because, of course, it's Liverpool, isn't it? Newcastle currently top of the league. They played 1 and won 1. They beat Manchester United, which is very, very nice to see. So, we are going to simulate things. Obviously, in terms of the club vision, they just want us to avoid relegation. So, fingers crossed, we can not disappoint our very famous Hollywood A-lister owners. Skin of our teeth. We have managed to somehow survive in the Premier League. There were evidently 3 worse teams than us in the league this season. Leicester, Norwich, Sunderland all got relegated, and we managed to survive by 1 point. We were 10 points adrift of Wolves as well, so we were very much in and around that mix, and we lost on the last day of the season as well. We have Man City away as the final game of the season, so luckily Leicester only drew with Fulham. If Leicester beat Fulham, we would have been relegated, but that did not happen. And we managed to survive just about. Minus 30 in terms of that goal difference, 23 defeats, 5 draws, and 10 victories throughout the course of the season. So chin up to all the boys that we did beat, mostly home games, but we did win away at Sunderland and away at Aston Villa. Some interesting results in there. They've beaten Arsenal and Manchester United at home. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Giving us some building blocks there, but we have picked up a couple of yellow cards, which is listed behind my head. So ultimately, in terms of the Premier League, I'm really happy with this. Got to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup as well, knocked out by QPR, which is a bit disappointing. Got to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, and we lost to Manchester United, who did go on to win the competition, and they also have Gabriel Jesus as Manchester United. I just don't understand FM sometimes. I just do not understand FM. So we're going to, yeah, that's a bad run of form towards the end of the season, isn't it? Let's have a look at how this season ended for us. Lost to Spurs, lost to Newcastle, lost to Brighton, lost to Man City, and we still stayed up, just about. Obviously that result against Aston Villa being a very prominent one. In terms of going into season number 7, we've got just shy of 40 million here, loads of money in the overall bank balance as well. So in terms of everything, guys, in terms of facilities and stuff like that, really nice. The racecourse ground is currently being expanded, which is going to be really nice, and also some of the training facilities are about to be upgraded, I believe, as well. If we go into the board, obviously, yes, they are also planning to expand the stadium at the racecourse, which is there, but we have been asking for some improved facilities, which has been going on off the field as well. Let's get through this summer window and see how we can get on. Transfer update going into season number 7 then, the season of the Premier League push is how I'm going to label this. We've gone out and we've signed some youngsters. We've been using our new gen filter, which I will hopefully release for you guys in a couple of days. We've just been tweaking it a little bit, but we've gone out and signed this guy here. Blomart is how I'm going to say this dude's name. Left back, young Belgian, comes in for £7.5 million from this team in Belgium. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but a young new gen as well. Obviously this is what that filter is all about, is finding these new gens. We've also signed this guy as well. Thomas comes in right back, young Czech Republic youth international, I will say. Super well rounded. Like, this guy's brilliant, isn't he? Good on either foot. He's got that national reputation already, and he's only 18 years of age. We paid £4.7 million for him. He comes in from the Czech First Division after having a very good season last year, just averaging a 7.0. And then the last one on this page is Michael Sanders. We had to go out and sign a Canadian for Ryan Reynolds, didn't we? I like his creativity, 6'3" as well. Good teamwork, good determination, nice passing, nice technique as well. He's just kind of a backup there, but he's also got 30 caps for Canada, so there you go. Oh, Canada, indeed. We've gone out and signed 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙕, the goalkeeper we had on loan last season from Porto. He comes in for £2.3 million. 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙕, we've signed this guy as well, young Mexican centre-back. Again, pretty well-rounded. Using the filter, I just wanted to test out some of these players. 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙕 comes in, another youth player. He was on a free transfer, but I like the fact that he had really high teamwork vision and work rate as well, alongside that good technique. It'd be interesting to see if he develops at all. We also signed this guy, José Geraldo, young Brazilian youth international, 6'6", 18 jumping reach, either footed. Yes, get in the team. I don't care if he can't head. And then the final player that we did sign is this guy, Filip Skolol, is how I'm going to say this dude's name. Youth international for Slovakia, 4 caps for them. He was at Derby. I don't know where Derby managed to pick him up. He spawned at Derby, which was very interesting. Had a couple of years out on loan and was pretty decent for them in the Championship last year. I paid 20 million quid for him. Game's the game. In terms of the tactics, guys, this is the team and the tactics still. We're running it. I've been giving some feedback to 𝘼𝙗𝙗 to make things as good as we possibly can do, obviously having played some of these games. But this is the team going into this season. Alberto Marco, the youngster, the young goalkeeper, I still can't get him a work permit, so hopefully maybe this season. We've got Vieira in goal. Thomas at right back, Brandon, José Geraldo, Stevens, Doyle, this dude, I'm butchering his name, Lucas, yes, Fernandez, Hansen, Aaron, Skolol comes out on the left-hand side, and Vidovic up top. He hasn't actually scored as many goals as I would have liked. 11 last season in the Premier League, and let's talk to you about one guy, because let's see if I can find him. Mr. Paul Mullin. Where is he? He's a coach. Do I try and get him back as a coach? He's only recently retired at the end of this year. So do I try and get Paul Mullin back as a coach? Let me know. Let me know if you think I should have done that. Yeah, in terms of the competitions going into this season, obviously Southampton are currently top. We've had a couple of games played already, but we are obviously rooted in that mid-table. They want us to fight bravely against relegation. My goal this season is to be a solid Premier League team. We kicked the season off against Arsenal, which is really, really nice. Jeremy Pino at Man City as well. What on earth is this team that Man City have got? Absolutely crazy. Right, we're going to simulate through this season number 7 in the Premier League, and let's see how we get on. So guys, Premier League solidarity has been resolved. We've got that this season. We finished in 11th, relatively bang average in terms of that mid-table. We're kind of at the top of that relegation pack. With a big difference between ourselves and Brighton. We finished on 49 points. They finished on 64. So yes, very big difference there. Liverpool winning the title despite this unbelievable team that Manchester City have managed to construct. So that is Wrexham right there. Mid-table, 14 wins, 7 draws, 17 defeats. In terms of the other competitions though, guys, knocked out in the 3rd round of the FA Cup by Coventry. That's disappointing. Knocked out in the 2nd round of the Carabao Cup by QPR. They seem to be a bit of a bogey team for us. Don't really know what it is, to be honest. But ultimately, things have gone pretty well. We've had a good finish to the season, beating Man City 4-0 as well, which is quite nice in certain circles. Joe Gelhardt is our top goal scorer this season. But I feel that is where I'm going to leave things with Wrexham today. If you want to take over this save, you can do so by joining my Discord. The links to that will be down in the description, and you can pick up this save directly from me and take Wrexham to the next level. Please do so, and if you do, let me know how you get on. If you have enjoyed today's video, guys, please do consider dropping a like on it down below, subscribing if you are picking up the content for the very first time, and if you want to see more rebuilds, check out this playlist popping up right here so you can see all of the rebuilds on this year's channel.